Welcome everyone to Wedding Morning Tales. This is your guide to everything wedding morning. So from the people in the know, that's us, John. Every Monday at 8 p.m, I will be speaking to wedding professionals and discover all the inside tips to make your wedding morning a success. I've had too many gins and lemonades apparently. Tips to make your wedding morning a success and what not to do from real life experience. So I'm Sam, I'm an expert in wedding mornings. I created my own wedding morning business called the Pretty Prep Studios, and there are 3 studios in Kent which are purposely designed for wedding mornings. But less about me. Let's talk about John. Let me introduce you, John. This is John. This is John Kennedy from Shot by JFK. We can go into the name in a minute, just in case people think, what is that about? Just on a personal note about John, though, John is an absolute legend of a photographer and a person. He's like a father to lots of us wedding suppliers. He's just that kind of calm in the wedding storm, and he's incredible. So if anybody needs a photographer, honestly, anyone who's ever spoken to me, I think I've talked about John. So he's your guy. Anyway, welcome, John. That's a bit of an introduction. Sorry about that. So I need to ask, what are you drinking?
Coffee.
Coffee. Decaf coffee or like coffee?
Actually, it's actually decaf. I'm not even going for coffee at the minute. It's decaf. I've completely wigged out.
So why are you drinking coffee? Just been a bit of a long week, or?
It's been a long day, but no, it's still a bit of a working at the moment. So once I'm done here, I can go and carry on with a bit of editing, and if I have like my usual beer, not sure about the editing after a couple of beers. So coffee is fine for now.
Fabulous. Well, I'm drinking gin. I have made some really poor life choices. Over the last couple of nights, the Call of Duty beta came out, and I have been playing till 1:30 for 2 nights in a row because I'm an absolute idiot. And I didn't learn by the first time. I did it again last night. So, hey, I'm going to stay awake with gin. Okay, let's dive into wedding mornings, John. So what kind of time do you arrive at a wedding morning? Like, when does your day begin? I'm going to address the elephant in the room, though, first, actually. Obviously, being a male photographer,
yes.
Like, how does that work? Like, I don't know if some brides might have things like, oh, it's wedding morning, I'm in little dressing gowns and I've got a male photographer. Is it an issue? What's your experience?
I don't think it's never been an issue. Nobody's ever said anything that would make me think it's any kind of an issue. It's not like anybody's running around. Well, usually nobody's running around naked. So, usually.
Yeah. Well, your lovely wife told me actually yesterday when I was with John and Dawn at a wedding fair yesterday, and sometimes Dawn actually comes to the wedding day as well because she is like that mum in the wedding circle. And she sometimes says to you, is this correct? She sometimes says to you, John, you turn around.
Yes, she does sometimes, because I can be really concentrating on if I'm photographing the bouquets or something, I'm really concentrating on what I'm doing, and I'm not necessarily taking in what's going on. I'm aware, but I don't necessarily take it in if I'm concentrating on this. So yeah, every now and again, Dawn will just sort of like, don't turn around, keep going. I don't know that something's happening that I'm not supposed to see, so I'll just carry on with what I'm up to and wait until it's safe. Or run out of the room altogether.
Guys, please stop! But I guess you've seen so many things like over your years doing this that it's just not even, it doesn't even faze you. It's not even something that you attract your attention because you're just like hyper focused in making sure you're getting their memories to people.
Yeah, I mean, that's the important bit, is getting the stuff there, not necessarily worrying about what's going on behind. So yeah, because it's never been, it's certainly not an issue that I've ever been made aware of.
Yeah.
So
no. Yeah.
Hopefully it isn't. I'm hoping nobody's.
No, of course they haven't. No one said anything to me. We all think you're amazing. Okay, so what time do you normally arrive? Because obviously for hair and makeup artists, they arrive first thing, sometimes before the bride. What time do you is there a normal time that photographers arrive?
There's not a normal. It depends a little bit on the couple, on the bride, and it also depends obviously on the time of the ceremony. Sometimes ceremonies usually like 2 o'clock. but sometimes they're a bit later than that. Sometimes they could be as early as midday. I try and get there between 2 and 3 hours before the ceremony time. But again, it depends on if they're getting ready at the venue that they're getting married in, or if there's travelling time between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 to 3 hours beforehand, that gives me a chance to sort of, it gives me a chance to settle everybody down, settle myself down, you know, go in, get the photos that we need. It still should leave enough time then so that it's not a mad panic to leave to get to the ceremony area or the ceremony venue, and still allow time for all of the photos. So yeah, 2 to 3 usually.
So what stage of the kind of morning is that, so people know? What do you normally see? Is there makeup on, no makeup? What area is that?
Usually I'm there before makeup is finished. There'll be makeup on. I mean, we always sort of say it's bridal prep and photos. Nobody really wants photos done before they've got the makeup on. Do you know, I've just seen me in my thing. I haven't had a shave. I do apologise. You had Laura and you've had Katie both looking like Hollywood style, and then you got me looking like this. I can't turn that bit off.
Stop it now.
Usually, makeup isn't done or not finished, but again, that's one of those things I can come into. I always say to the brides that I'm not going to walk straight in the room, straight to you and start photographing you straight. Nobody wants that. No. So it gives me a chance. I can go around and get the other details, various bits and pieces, photos of the dress, of course, before the dress is put on. And then once makeup's at a sensible stage, then we get photos of the makeup, finishing touches or fake up.
Fake up, so the fake applying of the makeup. Amazing, I love that. So there we are, brides. So maybe you speak to your hair and makeup artist and actually look at the time that's scheduled for your makeup and hair to be completed, and maybe rewind an hour, and that's the time your photographer comes, maybe. So yeah, do you think that's fair? Do you think that's a good tip? Yeah,
that seems about right. I mean, I'll always talk to the couple or the brides really, but because I'll always talk to them and find out, and we have a discussion about what time to arrive. So yeah.
Okay, amazing. And what is your style of photography, John? What do you have a specialism, or?
Not a specialism, I don't think. I mean, if you sort of broadly, you've got sort of photojournalist, which is kind of sort of on the fly and take what happens in front of you, and then you would have fine art, which is more posed, more structured, maybe. I guess I'm in between the two. I see the beauty in both. Some of the natural moments are absolutely gorgeous to see and witness. And similarly, some of the with some gentle direction, I always say, rather than post, I'll just give a little bit of direction of just tip your head, or something small can make a really big difference to the end photo. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle, photojournalist, lifestyle / fine art type thing, somewhere in the middle of it.
And how do you edit it? So like, what do you have, like an editing style? Is it like a true to life thing, or do you do like a lovely brown kind of filter over everything? I won't tell you, I won't say what we usually call that.
No, mine, I try and get it true to life. I tend to think that all couples have put in such a lot of work into choosing the colours of the flowers or the colours of the suits and the colours of the decor, that my final product should reflect the colours that people have put so much work into trying to find. So my colours are they're quite punchy, very true to life, very realistic.
Fabulous. Oh, I've just seen that Jade's joined. I think you was at her wedding, the one at the Pretty Prep Studios. And actually at that point, I think she was actually doing video for that time.
I was.
But yeah, there we are. Hi, Jade. So how do you deliver your photos, John? Do you deliver them in an album or on a USB? Like, how would brides expect to receive them?
Every one of my couples get a downloadable gallery from my website, so password protected gallery.
Okay.
And all of the edited photos are in there, and they're all high resolution, so they can download them all and print them out if they want to at home. And then depending on what collection of mine they've chosen, they'll get USB memory stick and they get an album. So then with the album, they choose the photos that they put in their album,
Okay.
and
Which you don't pick.
Sorry?
You don't pick and you don't chuck anything away.
No, not really. I mean, they don't get every photo I take on the day, but I tend to take more. So, like with group photos, for example, I might take 5 photos of every group, because generally with the groups, there's always going to be somebody that is, oh, squirrels. You know, there's always somebody. I don't know why. Why is that? There's always somebody that's just not looking, sort of, look in this camera, and they don't. They look someone. So I always take more than is needed. So they don't get every photo I take.
Yeah.
But that's not, by the same token, when I'm going through and culling the photos down, so taking out the ones that aren't needed, if there's a couple in there that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them and they're nice photos, I won't distinguish between the two. I'd leave them both in, because the couple might see something in that I wouldn't see.
Yeah.
So I kind of think, for the bit of extra work it's going to take me to edit that photo as well as this photo, I'll leave it in, and they have the choice then.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And how long does it usually take for you to like turn around your photos and edit them, like turn them around back to the customers? Because I think lots of brides, I think they get kind of surprised by it. Depends, I guess, depends what time of year it is and stuff. But yeah, how long?
Yeah, I think sometimes there's lots of reasons why photos can take a long time. Editing is quite full on. So I usually explain that 4 or 5 weeks for the final photos. I try not to be anywhere near that, and generally I'm more like 2 to 3 weeks. So by the 3-week mark, usually the couple will have their full gallery back and can enjoy it.
That's impressive. Like, I know everyone has different workloads and stuff like that, and it can vary, but I think any bride should be impressed by 3 weeks. My word. So slightly going back,
the way I work, I only take on 1 wedding a week. I sort of cap myself at 1 wedding a week, because that's the best way I can do it, to be able to control. It gives me a chance to give the couple the time that I think they deserve and they will want, and also it gives me a chance to just keep on top of editing. Some people can edit much faster than I can, but if I start doing more than 1 a week, I'll start dropping back on the edits. So
yeah. And you want to give that service. Yeah. You want to give that service to your brides, I guess. That's really cool. Really cool. Yeah. Okay, so slightly going back about the kind of style of photography you have and stuff. So do you have a favourite over posed photos or candid photos?
I don't have a favourite. Like I say, there's some. So I was at a wedding on last weekend. I was at a wedding, not this Saturday, just gone, the previous Saturday. I was at a wedding. Absolutely lovely couple. We had so much fun on the day, and we did some post photos, and they've come out. They're beautiful. I've sort of had a look through them already. They're absolutely beautiful, these post photos. But there's a couple where it's just completely candid of both of them off on their own, and they're just gorgeous. So nice to see.
Yeah, you're very good at blending into the background and just, you know, all of a sudden, like, capturing this thing. I've seen you do it so many times. You're so good at that.
We'll disappear off and find a hedge and climb in to see what comes past. Yeah, I try. You know, all of us photographers have got an arsenal of lenses. We've all got the really wide lens, and we've got a really long lens, and yeah, I will quite happily sit there with a long lens on and just see what I can get without anybody hopefully noticing. Again, it's one of those things for me, just the natural reactions. I find it really beautiful to watch sometimes. So
yeah,
for both. When either are done really, really well, I just think they look amazing. So I don't have a specific favourite. It's just as the moment takes me usually. And not all couples want post photos. Quite often on the day, couples will sort of, you know, I'll have had the conversation with them and they say, no, we don't really want to go away for our 15-minute walk around. We just want candids. And then on the day, usually, can we go and have a walk? Can we go and get some photos? So
yeah,
we try and get both. It's down to the couple, what the couple really want.
See, I've also seen some of your more kind of put together shots where you've done some really, really amazing ones, like people all sat like a big bridal party. Maybe it's the bridesmaids and the groomsmen and the couple, and like they're like really quirky kind of shots that you've done. I think they're amazing. It's got to be the right couple, of course, that want that.
Yeah,
but
has to be the right couple. It has to be the right venue as well, to a point. But I have to. I mean, you saw the one I have it out on wedding fairs now because it gets so much attention. I've got a couple of photos that always get a lot of attention at wedding fairs. The one is that one.
Yeah.
Always gets a lot of attention. And the one you're talking about, the bride and groom's party all sitting around on that sofa in the library. It was so much fun to do. We only had like less than 5 minutes to put it together.
Yeah.
But they chatted to me beforehand, and they sort of said, look, we want a photo of us, something different in the library. So of course on the day we just about managed to sneak it in, and we threw it all together, and it worked really, really well. So stuff like that I love doing. It's just a little bit different. Like, absolutely, you know, a bit of imagination with the lighting and the right people in front, and it can be so much fun. So yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love that you can adapt to both. I love that. Okay, and so I think also what most people think of, so I think people get told we need a second shooter on their wedding day, and obviously second shooters means a hell of a lot more money for the couples to spend out on. So what are the pros of having a second shooter, and is it needed? Like, you know, from a photographer's point of view, would you say it's needed?
It's not needed, I don't think. I'm fortunate. I have Dawn comes with me now to most of my weddings, so you know she's there to help me move all my stuff around. That's not what second shooters do, but she's there to help me with that. So that means I can sort of give a bit more time to the couple, and then if you've got a second shooter as well, they can go and do their thing. I think a lot of it comes down to the couple and what the couple want. If they want bride prep photos and they want photos of the groom and the lads as well, I can't be in both places at the same time. Even if it's the same venue, that can be a real juggle. So if you want both, then yes, get somebody with a second shooter, because it gives you that ability. And also you just get two what can be really, really nice angles through the ceremony. So you could have, you know, I'm going to be at the front probably with the bride and groom, or the bride and the groom, you know, with my couple. And then my second shooter can be from a different viewpoint, so from the back of the room or from one of the sides. So they do add a lot to the day. They add a lot to your coverage of what you get afterwards. But it's not for everybody, and maybe if it's a small, particularly small wedding, it might not be suitable. There's a lot of sort of bits that come into the equation of whether you really definitely should have one. Some couples know from the very start. Some couples are absolute, we want one because we want to be able to do all this. And if I'm away with a couple doing the couple's portraits bits in the afternoon, and we've got a second shooter, the second shooter can hang around and get all the candies of all of the guests having fun. So it's lovely that then the couple can see what's happening when they're not there. That's always a nice bit to know. So I think it comes down to the couple, but absolutely it can be a great benefit to have a second shooter. Yeah.
So if there's budget for it and the couple would value having the additional kind of shots, then definitely consider it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Like I say, every couple's different. Sometimes there's the odd venue that a second photographer might not make a lot of sense at because there just might not be the room, but you still get a lot of stuff other than just the ceremony as well. So yeah, nice. It's definitely, I always have that conversation with all of my couples, whether they want one or not, and here's the reasons you might want one, here's the reasons you might not want one, and we'd have a conversation about it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, if it's doable, if you think you might want it, go for it, because you're never going to be sorry afterwards that you got these extra photos if you can fit it into the budget.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I can always ask their photographer. Any photographer who's worth their weight will probably tell you the truth if your venue's suitable or not. So speak to them.
Yeah. We're all happy to be asked questions. We don't, you know, generally with the couples, they haven't done this before, so they don't know everything. That's why come to us, ask us the questions. We've got a bit of knowledge up here. So ask us.
Fabulous. Okay, and so in your opinion, John, what makes a good wedding morning location? So when you arrive somewhere, what do you look around and see and go, okay, it's going to be fine? or on the other side, we're going to have some problems here, guys.
I want to say I go in and I look for the beautiful light. Generally, the first thing I do is look for where the least clutter is, because there's usually stuff everywhere.
Hmm.
Clear for all the bride prep and the groom prep and all that. Clear up the stuff, declutter everything. If it's in the background, it's going to get in your photos, and it's just declutter everything. Chuck it all in the bathroom or something out of the way. Other than that, light, just some really lovely light that will sort of benefit everybody and give us the great photos. I mean, Sam, you know, I'm like, I've always got all sorts of flashes and lights, but you know, a bit of natural light, a lovely window, pretty prep studio. What can I say? It's just perfect, isn't it? The light is just beautiful, and everything's uncluttered. So that's the kind of stuff that I think we all look for. I mean,
someone just said on here, space. I've known you, John, to always like tuck into a little crook or something just to try and get like the decent shots. The space probably is really important as well.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult. I did do a wedding 2021, I think it was, and there was, I think it was 12 bridesmaids.
Wow.
And there were some girls, and everybody was getting ready in a semi-detached house. It was a squeeze, and it was dark, and we're trying to do all these various photos, and it was like, this is really hard work. We couldn't go outside. It was just one of those days. It wasn't going to be an outdoor day. So yeah, space is always good, which again, you know about. But yeah, bit of space, just lovely light always helps.
Fabulous. And so what would you say the top 3 shots that are either always requested or that you always take? Like, what are your top 3?
I try and get.
Sorry, I should say wedding mornings. Sorry, wedding morning.
You always want something with the final bits of makeup being done. Every bride's always asking, you know, nobody necessarily wants the photos done before the makeup's on, but once it's on, we're all ready for it. So there's always that. There's always the photo of the bride with the girls, so all the bridesmaids somewhere. I struggle to think of a third one that I always get. There's always bits.
Flat lay.
There's always flowers.
Flat lay.
Sorry?
Flat lay. You always do a flat lay.
There you go. I always do then. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you always do a really beautiful flat lay. I don't know, maybe it's like the male eye, or maybe that's the wrong thing to say. I don't know. I don't mean it in any offensive way, but you always have a really good eye for it. And they always turn out. And what you do with the rings sometimes as well. Like sometimes, like John gets the engagement ring or the wedding rings or whatever it may be, a ring, and he like places it like in different places, like between shoes, and you just have a really amazing way of finding beauty in little kind of objects, and it's really nice.
Thank you. I do like to do the ring shots, but they're not always there in the morning. Sometimes the boys are trusted to look after the rings in the morning, so they're not always there. But I do it, yeah, if I can. I sometimes take the rings off away from them during the day if I can't do it in the morning. But
perfect. Okay. And so I think one of the main last questions I have from you, actually there's 2. This is a big question. I asked the other suppliers as well. Do you think that photographers should be fed at weddings? Is there a need? Do you like, should brides feed their photographers? Should they not feed their photographers? Like, is it a thing?
I think this is very individual, probably to every photographer and every videographer. So if I will quite possibly leave home at 8 in the morning to get to the venue. So I'm at the venue usually potentially half an hour before I see the couple or the bride at the bride prep area. I'm usually there a lot before I'm supposed to be. So if the couples then sit down at 4 o'clock and the meals comes out for 5 o'clock, I haven't eaten since 8 o'clock. It's now 5 o'clock. Personally, myself, I don't ask for a meal. I am more than happy to just bring my own food, and I'll sit down somewhere quiet and eat my own food. I actually ask couples not to supply me food anymore for a few reasons. But that I don't don't think that's the case for every photographer and every videographer. And I think if they expect to be fed, that's probably fair. You know, we're there for an awful long time usually without having a chance to grab any kind of food or a sip of drink. Even some days it can be incredibly, really hard work for many hours. But for me personally, no, don't feed me. I'm going to feed myself. I sat down the other day.
Oh, so you said. No, you go.
I was just, I'm not gonna say where it was or who it was, but we got to we were at a wedding not that long ago, and the Toastmaster ate Dawn's dinner. So we left home. We had breakfast. We left home about 8, and we sat down expecting. The couple were fantastic, and they absolutely insisted that they fed us both, because they were saying it's such a long day. You're there with us. We're going to feed you, and they did. And the Toastmaster ate Dawn's. So we got to 4:30 in the afternoon, expecting to be fed, and the Toastmaster ate hers. So,
wow, that Toastmaster should feel some shame.
I'm bringing my own food.
Bring it all just in case. I had a great idea, right? Do you know like obviously when brides and groom go to venues and stuff, and they say oh, do you want to feed your photographer stuff? Because I think venues do ask the question. Why don't venues put on a separate menu which isn't the wedding dinner for photographers and stuff? Why don't they just serve you up a sandwich? Why do they have to pay £50 a head? Why can't they just do you a supplier sandwich?
No, some do. Occasionally, there are a couple of venues. I don't get myself into trouble. I don't know how many, but there are some venues that will put on a supplier or vendor meal.
Oh.
And there are a couple that will bring out a sandwich, and there's a couple that will say, "Go and help yourself to a drink." You know, you're here all day, go and help yourself to a drink. There's some that don't, but there are a couple that do. So,
I think we should petition for it. I think we should have a petition to wedding venues. Maybe I'll start this. Just at least offer like the bride and groom to pay £10 or just like a nominal amount, which will cover it for the venue, just to be able to make them a sandwich and like, you know, a little packet of crisps and chocolate bar or something, a little packed lunch. I don't know. I just feel like it's cruelty, especially because you've got so much to lug around anyway.
That lunch box on top is too much. But I bring my own. I mean, this is one of the reasons I'll bring my own. I'll just have sandwiches and crisps and a bar of chocolate, and it also means I can, you know, when everybody goes in and sits down for their meal, I can sit down and eat my meal and not wait for when some food finally arrives. So yeah, it's just for me personally. It's just me, but for me personally, that's the way for me.
Nice. Okay. And last question then: have you got any horror stories that we can learn from in a very productive way, so we can give tips to people for wedding morning? Have you got any wedding morning tips from any stories you may have?
For wedding, other than not eating the photographer's meal, wedding morning stuff, try, for everybody, this is brides and grooms, try everything that you're going to wear it before the day, so you know that it fits and you know that you're not going to end up with blisters. I've had weddings where the bride hadn't tried the shoes on until the morning. I had one this year, and they just didn't fit, so we would try sort of scrap it. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff in my camera bag, sewing kit, and you know, little crochet hooks. I have all that sort of stuff in my camera bag. A little sewing kit, which it's been used several times. Dawn used it a couple of weeks ago. The bride's dress split in an area I'm not allowed to go anywhere near, so Dawn sewed that one up. Crochet hook, very good.
Right, guys, it doesn't show you that John cares. John is like you.
And Dawn comes with me so she can sew up the bits that I'm not allowed to go near. So, yeah, we were scrabbling around in the morning trying to find some way of punching holes in the leather strap to the shoes to make them fit. It was an absolute nightmare. So, try everything on. Make sure everything fits. If you're wearing a bra with your dress, I know generally that's not the case. But if you're wearing a bra with your dress, in fact, the opposite as well. If you're not wearing a bra with your dress, don't try it on with a bra, because then on the day when you put one on, the fit can be different.
Try everything on.
Dawn again, actually. Last year we were at a wedding, and Dawn sewed the, I don't know if Dawn's watching this, but she ended up sewing 3 bridesmaids into their dresses because they'd all tried the dresses on with undergarments. And then on the day they didn't have said undergarments, and they were all like, oh my god, I can't go out like this. So Dawn was sitting there sewing up 3 dresses to lift the plunge line, I don't know what you call that, lifting it up and sort of saving decency. So wear it all as you're going to wear it on the day, wear it beforehand so you can just make sure it all fits as it should.
Amazing piece of advice. And Dawn, you're a legend, an absolute legend. Okay, so I think she probably will be watching it back, if not anyway. So now it's time for our top tips from followers. So on Instagram, I asked my previous brides and suppliers if they have any handy tips so we can help out the brides-to-be. I have had quite a few responses today, actually. I did ask suppliers as well, like photographers, let me know. Okay. Right, the first one here was from Joe at May Media. He's a great guy. He goes to the wedding fairs. He did some amazing photos at the Pretty Prep Studios. He says, find a good playlist. That's a great tip for a wedding morning. Like, nobody wants to be getting ready in silence, and I think music relaxes you, right? Music can just make you feel kind of excited. It can make you hopefully forget about the anxiety of everything that's going on. Great tip, Joe. Great tip. And Flo Berry got in touch. Hi, Flo. Flo's awesome, amazing. She said she's got about 5 here. Don't forget to enjoy your morning. If you don't smile, we won't get smiley pictures. True. If you're there, smile. Always smile. Okay, cool. Give a bridesmaid the job to keep your space clutter-free. Your tog will thank you. That's exactly what you said too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Literally just bring a couple of crates with you or something, or like at the studios we've got the boxes, literally just shove everything in them, move them away from where you're getting ready, and please get them out the way. But yeah, literally allocate the job to your bridesmaid, get someone to do it so you don't have to stress out about it. You don't need to get fancy hangers, but dear God, don't put your £2,000 dress on a plastic hanger. Thoughts, John?
I've actually got a wooden hanger in my camera bag.
No, you have not.
Yeah, I have, yeah. Because I've done that. I've had that. Flo's brilliant. And yeah, she's absolutely right. There's such a lovely photo with that plastic hanger buckling under the weight of a gown. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got, hangers at the studio too, because some of the ones that I collect from, like, when people leave them, like the old ones, I think, oh God, I hope they didn't get photos on them. I hope they use my hangers. 2 more. Tags. Take them off. Don't leave it to the last minute. Is that because you're rushing out the door, do you think?
It's just another thing. I mean, it can easily get forgotten, but again, mini scissors. It can easily get forgotten. I always say, get in the dress so much more before you think you have to. Give yourself an extra half an hour at least to get in your dress.
Yeah.
The very worst that will happen is that you get to sit around for half an hour enjoying being in your dress.
Yeah.
But if the slightest thing goes wrong, then suddenly that half an hour you thought you had is gone. You're just running out the door. Tags can get left in.
Or I guess if they didn't have scissors with them, they might pull it and then make a hole. Don't do that, guys. Do not do that. Take your tags off. Follow John's advice. Please try it on without tags. You're not going to be returning them. And the last one here from Flo is make sure all your details are together so your photographer can get a decent flat lay. Like, Flo does a great flat lay too. I guess it's a thing. Like, if you have everything together already, like, it's like a wedding invitation, isn't it, that you normally have? What are the bits that you'd normally put together, John?
Yeah, normally you have shoes, flowers maybe, perfume, a little bit of jewellery, an invite maybe, just a few of those sort of detail bits. And if they are just all on a dressing top or on a windowsill or something, when you walk into the room as a photographer, when you walk in the room and you know it's all there, again, it's one of those things where if something is missing, well, where's it gone? And it's taking somebody 10 minutes to find said bottle of perfume, for example. It's just nice if everything's there and ready for you when you walk in to do it, rather than having to lose 10 minutes trying to find whatever it might be. Again, you don't, every photographer, I was going to say Flo, but every photographer will know this when you walk into the room and everybody's sitting there calmly. No, we've got so much time, we've got hours. No, you don't. You have 2 hours. You need to get everything takes. It's really nice because it's really relaxed, but that last hour just disappears. It's incredible how fast that last hour of the bride prep time goes. So you go from this sitting about having a lovely relaxed time to absolute running around like it's just chaos. So
yeah,
maybe that would be my tip, is give yourself the time. Do everything so you're going to be finished 45 minutes before you need to be, and then you've got this little soft, because the whole day anyway just goes incredibly fast. You can't know how quickly the day goes until you've been through it. You've kind of lost those bits of time. So build yourself in a cushion through the day of just 10 minutes here and 10 minutes here and 10 minutes here, and it'll make such a difference to how relaxed it is afterwards.
I just seen a couple of people. Jade, she said, yep, I was late to the wedding. She wasn't even intentionally late, it's just the time flew. I think if you can literally try and get there an hour early, I know it's an hour early out of bed, but you're not exactly going to fall asleep on your wedding day. Like, the excitement and the adrenaline is going to kick in, you're going to be fine if you can get there an hour before. So after you've finished getting ready, you've got an hour to do whatever. You can get some lovely photos, you can have a cup of tea, just to kind of eat something. Great, fantastic. Have some lovely photographs of you and your girls. Like, that's your last like hour as a miss, and with all the people who you love around you, like, it just like literally try and allocate that time. So then you've got my
last wedding, the one I was talking about earlier on, actually, which was not this Saturday, the previous Saturday. I arranged to get there. They had all of the bits ready for the flat lay. It was almost made up. I almost didn't have to touch it to do anything. It was brilliant. And they were ready. I told them to get ready at this time, and they were ready 20 minutes before I asked them to get ready. So we really had a load of time.
Oh.
It just, as it happens, it was an absolutely beautiful venue as well. And it just meant we had like an extra 25 minutes in the morning to go and get these, what are going to be amazing photos.
Yeah.
And it was just, that kind of was the feel for the rest of the day then as well. It was just so relaxed for the entire day. It was just fantastic. And yeah, give yourselves time to enjoy it.
I think wedding mornings can either set you up for success or set you up for failure. Success because you're going to be really chill and have that lovely morning experience and be great, or you're going to be like flustered, rushing to get there, sweating because you're just anxious, like because you're running late, and you're literally just going to feel probably that for the rest of the day. So ladies, give yourself some time. But yeah, I believe we've come to the end, John. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on. If any of you found it, oh, you're so welcome, John. I wouldn't have anyone else. If you have found this useful out there, please let us know, because I might be turning this into a podcast and recording at the studio. I've been getting about 1,000 views on TikTok and Instagram, so I'm teetering on the idea. So if you can leave me a comment, that'd be great, just to let me know. So yeah, right, grab your glass, John. This has been Wedding Morning Tales. Cheers to your perfect wedding morning.
Cheers, everyone.